2026 will be a year you will never forget. While some people may experience the biggest collapse of all systems, others will go through the greatest liberation of their soul. In this video, I will analyze for you the major energetic shifts. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction, which happens only once every 36 years, and the powerful eclipses and the change of the lunar nodes. These movements give us important clues about how things can develop. And what I share with you today is an energetic map, not a fixed future. The stars show us the currents, but you decide what to create from them. 2026 will be the year when we witness the final breakdown of an old world view. And what this will bring, I will explain in a moment. Before we begin, a warm welcome to you on my YouTube channel. My name is Sylvia Zodiac Group. I'm a clairvoyant medium and a Vedic astrologer. And if you are interested in these topics, you can subscribe to my free newsletter, where I share weekly inspirations and energetic updates. You will find the link directly below this video. This analysis today is a general preview of 2026. In my monthly updates, I share more detailed information, and in my short daily forecast, you can learn how the energy of each day unfolds. So check this all out. So subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay informed, and follow me on Telegram and Instagram as well. Because unfortunately, we do not know what new rules YouTube may introduce. Especially next year, we may see even more censorship. All links are below this video. And one more important note. I speak from the perspective of Vedic astrology, which is a completely different system from Western astrology. It is based on where the planets are actually located in the sky right now. Let us begin with the event that makes 2026 an extraordinary, once-in-a-century opportunity. Saturn and Neptune will meet in exact conjunction. Something that already happens only once every 36 years, but this time it is even more significant. They meet in the sign of Pisces around 6 degrees, and it will take many centuries before these two forces come together here again. The extraordinary thing about this conjunction is the exact degree at which it occurs, around 6 degrees. This is the beginning of the current zodiacal cycle in Vedic astrology. This position not only marks a new phase in the Saturn-Neptune cycle, but also the starting point of an entirely new collective field of consciousness. And that is absolutely unique. And yes, you may wonder, why does the zodiac begin at 6 degrees in Pisces and not at 0 degrees Aries, as we know it from Western astrology? The reason is that Vedic astrology takes into account the movement of the fixed stars, the actual movement of the heavens. Over thousands of years, the 0 point of the zodiac has shifted, and the current beginning of the Vedic zodiac now lies at about 6 degrees Pisces. This meeting of Saturn and Neptune at exactly this point represents a cosmic new beginning, the writing of a completely new matrix within our reality. The last time these two planets met was about 36 years ago, around 1989-1990. in the sign of Sagittarius. That time already marked a turning point in human history. But this time it is on an entirely different level, because now they meet at the beginning of a new cycle. The Saturn Neptune conjunction of 1989-1990 took place during a period of profound change. It was the moment when old systems began to fall apart. The Berlin Wall came down, the Cold War ended, Eastern Europe freed itself from decades of control, and the Soviet Union dissolved. In Germany, the reunification began, and all over the world, borders that had been closed opened again. Yet this time was not only political, but also technological. In the year 1989, the World Wide Web was born, and humanity entered the digital age. Saturn and Neptune in Sagittarius dissolved outdated ideologies and awakened the desire for freedom, truth, and global connection. Humanity moved from a world of separation into a phase of interconnection, a movement that still shapes us today and will continue on a higher level of consciousness with the conjunction of 2026. So that's really important, this conjunction in Pisces. And many already feel it. Things we once thought were solid and real are beginning to blur and dissolve. This is the direct influence of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. We are witnessing the end of illusion. Anything in your life or in the world that is not built on truth and integrity will begin to shake. Systems, relationships, even your own beliefs. Whatever is no longer real will now fall away. Saturn in Pisces acts like a loving yet uncompromising teacher, asking you to finally look yourself in the eyes and be honest. And at the same time, something beautiful is happening. Spiritual practice will no longer be something distant or so much abstract. It will become as essential as daily nourishment. Meditation, energy healing, and working with the dream consciousness will be understood for what it truly is. Essential tools not only to survive in the dissolving world, in this kind of dissolving world, but to shine within it. This is not about belief, it is about acceptable knowledge. You will see how deep collective wounds can finally begin to heal. Ancient traumas of separation and guilt rise to the surface, not to punish you, but so that you can finally release them. As a collective, we are realizing we are all connected. What harms another also harms me. The contact with extraterrestrial intelligence will also become more tangible. Many will begin to have first experiences in dreams or open themselves to the simple knowing that there is far more life in the universe than humanity alone. And above all, 2026 marks the return of the feminine, receptive power. This has nothing to do with feminism, but with restoring the inner balance between the masculine and feminine aspects within us, bringing the focus back into the heart, away from a poorly mental way of perceiving reality towards a heart-based way of being with one another. That is where we are heading. Even when it sometimes looks as if we are moving in the opposite direction. It is the time to trust your inner truth and your intuitive wisdom. These are the true strengths of the feminine. Humanity is awakening to a greater compassion. We can see this now in the collective response to the war and suffering in Gaza. People, and mostly young people, are beginning to look beyond the old narratives, to question who the real enemy is, and how these enemy image have been used to keep humanity divided and small. 2026 is the year you will learn to ride the waves of life instead of fighting against them. All of this leads us to a simple but powerful truth. 2026 is the year of choice, the moment to decide between the old illusion of separation and a new living connection with all that exists. It is your invitation to be not just only a witness, but an active co-creator of this great awakening. And now we come to one of the most powerful moments of 2026. The eclipse series in February and March. A total lunar eclipse visible across the world and an annular solar eclipse. I will share the detailed analysis of these events in separate videos. But in the overall perspective, these eclipses mark the dissolution of old power structures and the fall of ego-driven leadership. They represent the dethroning of the ego, both on a personal level and within the collective. Systems built on control, hierarchy, and self-importance are moving toward their inevitable collapse. Added to all of this, Jupiter, planet Jupiter, retrograde in Gemini at the time of the eclipses, will aspecting this great unfolding. It is a clear indication of the coming breakdown of our old system of media, but also of global financial and value systems. Nothing that is built on poor material exploitation, you can say, will remain. Jupiter forces us to redefine what true value means. And then in August 2026, we will experience the second major eclipse series. This one will touch us deeply on an emotional level. On August the 12th, a solar eclipse will take place in Cancer, in the lunar mansion Astrological. This eclipse brings the theme of releasing old emotional attachments, to see where we poison ourselves through dependencies, and where we still cling to people or situations that no longer nourish us. The following lunar eclipse on August the 28th in Aquarius moves this process to the collective level. It speaks of freedom, new communities, and the collapse of false authority. Figures of power and manipulation will increasingly lose their influence. However, this period may also bring physical reactions to the rising energies. These increase in frequency often first manifest in our own energy system through detoxification, fatigue, or shifts in the nervous and emotional body. The August eclipse speaks of a deep purification and reordering within the body, in our relationships, and within the social structure as a whole. Yet, while the old structures collapse, something new begins to emerge. All over the world, we can already see new forms of community and consciousness arising, small living networks that are born not from power or control, but from heart energy. People are beginning to connect beyond political and institutional systems, supporting one another in healing, creativity, and inner growth. 2026 shows us that change is not chaos, but a reordering, a collective synchronization with a higher order of life. From this greater perspective, it becomes clearer. The ultimate purpose of these intense energies is the liberation of individual consciousness from the constraints of old collective energy fields. The Aquarius aspect of 2026 urges us to free ourselves from all group thinking ideologies and so-called truths imposed on us by others. The Leo energy, on the other hand, asks us to rediscover our true sovereign individuality, not based on ego, but on the creative spark that flows directly from the heart. 2026 will also reveal more clearly the power matrix behind religion and belief systems. Many will begin to release religious and societal dogmas, choosing instead a direct connection to the divine within. For many, personal spiritual development will become more important than collective belief. Maybe through retreats, training, or daily practice. Transformation will happen within, not through external promises. Fewer people will be willing to live as victims of circumstances or submit to political or ideological agendas. The old world will crumble, and with it a new model of leadership will emerge, more honest, more fair, and more transparent. But this new world will not appear by itself. It needs all of us to live it, not only to talk about it. And for the body, a deeper level of release will be needed, so that it can align with the intense purification processes we are collectively moving through. In June 2026, planet Jupiter will move into Cancer, turning the focus toward new values, family, friendship, and the feeling of an inner home. Yet controlling family patterns will no longer fit this frequency. A new sense of family consciousness will emerge, and more people will begin to understand that the only true security in life is the security we create within ourselves, not in the outer world. At the end of 2026, another major shift takes place. The lunar nodes change signs at the end of November. The North Node Rahu moves into Capricorn and the South Node Ketu moves into Cancer. The lunar nodes are always key points that direct the collective focus toward new themes. With Rahu in Capricorn, the emphasis will be on responsibility, creating true structure, and finding harmony between our duties and what truly defines us. It will be about learning to use new technologies in the workspace and society, but doing so consciously in ways that serve humanity rather than harm it. Yes, and there will be some challenges around this topic. With Ketu in Cancer, the energy brings release from old emotional and karmic entanglements, both personal and collective. It is as if the soul wants to shed its final old skin. Essentially, the lunar nodes strengthen this global reorientation away from ego-driven self-promotion and toward authentic community, innovation and equality-based societies. And there is another question I am often asked. How will the war zones develop? And what could happen in 2026? Yes, 2026 also carries strong Rahu-Mars energies, which can indicate a widening of conflicts, especially because these energies are linked to the first solar eclipse in February. These influences often show themselves in world events, for example, through escalating power struggles or geopolitical tensions. The old systems of control will attempt to stabilize themselves through fear. But the real war will not take place on battlefields. It is unfolding in the consciousness of humanity, between fear and awakening, between division and compassion. The greatest game changer is humanity itself, people who no longer want war. The more individuals withdraw their energy from the fields of fear, the faster these collective war programs lose their power. That is why 2026 is the year to understand peace not as a condition, but as a frequency, a vibration that you can hold within yourself, even while the outer world is in turmoil. There is nothing to fear in 2026. It is the year to become courageous, to live your own new world, now that the old one is losing its power. You are not here to save something that is falling apart. You are here to express the new through your being. And that is our collective task, right here, right now. This is a first overview for 2026. I will share more details in the upcoming astrological updates. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, do it now. And in my daily shorts, also check them out. I share always a small energetic update. And also in my newsletter, you can subscribe to my newsletter. And now I would love to read your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel and sense the unfolding of 2026? Share this important video, and in 2025, in 2026, and all and ever, I love you.